You don't know the half of it. I got dreams of looking up, high as I can get. But nothing feels like how it feels to know these things I don't know yet. The weight of everything, and everything's just thread. Sometimes I'm trapped inside and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But to take on the world is the only thing that we know how to do. I've got dreams of finding out what all of this is for. It's you and me, and everywhere we go it leads to an open door. We've made our mistakes, the good and bad days, but nothing really breaks if I got you. Look at the sky when you go outside, and know there is nothing to keep me back from you. I got dreams of finding out what all of this is for. It's you and me, and know there is nothing, and everywhere we go we're leading to an open door. Keep me back, keep me back, keep me back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of the final week of Ireland Esports Collegiate Series Winter, where we are getting into the very last day of Swiss Stage, as you hear it here. I'm OBK99. With me is a new face here. Recollect, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's nice to be brought along for a special little evening of collegiate entertainment, I suppose, with two teams that I am not particularly familiar with, I must confess, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring to the table here once we do get the draft obviously going and get everything heading along.
At the moment, we're interesting game. We've got some even standings so far. Some teams very far ahead. Obviously, UCD Leviathans A currently in the first place. At the moment, we're going to take it to the middle of the table where we've got UCD Leviathans Betas going up against the Maynooth Martyrs. And both teams currently 4-4, all to play for so far. And I really think even besides UCD being 7-1, there is a lot to play.
Oh. Oh. Hello? Oh no. Not like this, boys. Not like this. I guess it's time for a solo cast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? Some people like to think that League of Legends is a two-player game. This is an invasion now. I'm taking it away from the Irishman, and we're gonna get into the big bang. We do see the Ari, the Nautilus, and the Lilia off the table on one side, and on the other side we have the Lulu, the Skarner, and the Caitlyn taken away. Obviously, quite a few of these strong meta picks that we are used to. I do see a very attractive-looking man there on my left-hand side. Are you back with us, sir?
I wasn't gone, but
You weren't gone.
You see
You
the
just
Zeri
disappeared.
as the
Nice.
Zeri there lock in there. Zeri getting picked up immediately for UCD Leviathans B. Probably going to be playing for comfort. Looking towards the rank of some of these players. At middle of the table, there's nothing crazy. We have I believe the highest ranked player being a diamond player for the side of Maynooth Martyrs. And if I recall, we did cast a Minutes Martyrs game where he did lock in Vayne and play AD carry, which I believe will be his preferred choice. And as saying the changes so far, Swain getting locked in. What do you think, man, of the new Swain changes?
I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan. I'm not entirely sure if the changes are live yet to the Swain. I would have to double check on that one. What I do know is that when you do have these champions like the Swain, you love it into these low range type champions such as Zeri. It does kind of make your draft a little bit more predictable for the later stages, and also sort of drafts you into a weird pinching aspect. So it'll be interesting to see if Leviathan does walk into the low range trap that does enable Swain to have so much value, or if we will see them gravitate towards other longer range picks. I haven't particularly seen them move away from that kind of stuff just yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we do go with the rest of the draft, and with Rakan, does allow that engage, does allow Swain to follow up quite effectively.
Ike gonna get locked in there to help the Zeri. Another interesting pick. Pike, I mean, he's recently been okay. He was picked at Worlds in the semifinals by T1. He's always got that ear cut to give a bit of juice gold to the Zeri, or maybe the mid laner, which is going to be the Hui. 3 very high skill champions being locked in there for the side of Manuth Martyrs, and which is a very interesting considering a kind of middle stage of the draft. And when you're kind of playing mixed elo players, you tend to go more towards comfort, but at the same time, usually lower skill champions. I mean, well, mechanically speaking, lower skill mechanical champions. Going straight for the Pike, the Zeri, and the Hui. This could really backfire for the Manuth Martyrs. But on the other side there, the Wukong getting locked in there for UCD Leviathans B. A lot of engage. Probably assuming going to be in that jungle role, but we can see where it ends up.
Yeah, I would definitely be expecting it in the jungle position. And I think it does make some sense, because normally you wouldn't be huge on picking someone like a Wukong so early. But when you have the Hui already locked in on the opposite side, you can assume it's probably going to be an AD-based jungler, especially with the things like this Lilia off the table already. There's not a whole lot of AP junglers that I particularly would want to gravitate towards when paired with Hui. So likely that AD matchup, which obviously Wukong loves to play into. Also, what's worth noting is that the Hui, great matchup into the Swain. I kind of like the idea of it. It is that long range stays out of the way. But we have a hardcore brawling composition here coming along on the right-hand side. More of a mix match on the left side of the ref.
Something you see straight out of your brown solo queue games on that left side. I'm really excited for it at the moment. The Orin going to get banned.
Oh, stinky. He's not allowed to stay with us. He's too smart for the rest of us, and so we're only allowed him in small spurts with him, unfortunately. As you were saying though, the Ornn is taken off the table. That could be one of those reliable engage options, which currently the blue side of the rift does kind of lack in. Pike Q, whilst it can be, if you're carrier, you might be able to make some plays and make it all start off. Not the best for the rest of us here in the human realm of gameplay. So taking away one of those reliable engage options. On the flip side, we're seeing the Renekton hover. I kind of like the idea of a Renekton being banned away. Actually, it is already banned. It does deny you that safe blind pick option, which obviously R4 pick known for needing that kind of blind. And with the Volibear off the table as well, we're seeing a lot of this top lane being pinched, a lot of these low range bruises. Hello, sir.
At the moment there, we see the 4 bans from Manuth Martyrs. How are we getting on? I believe I'm having internet trouble at the moment.
You are back with us now. I can see you, sir.
Yeah, but I've never had internet trouble at all, so this is a new one. But
well,
yeah, K'Sante gets locked in there for the Martyrs.
What's really funny to me is that there's a Galio lock as well. So that is no longer the Swain mid I was expecting it to. Likely the Swain in the bottom lane, although obviously could be played in top. Galio also could be played in top. So a lot of pivoting options. Galio Hui matchup is not the worst in the world. I don't mind it personally. So I can definitely see it being played there. The issue with it is that you're kind of relying purely on Wukong as your go button, which is a little bit sketchy, as he can sometimes get shut out, especially with things like Poppy open, but it doesn't get picked. They go for Karthus instead. So going towards Hui plus Karthus as your mid jungle, that is a interesting decision to go. And a Rift. Oh, we are in collegiate, aren't we? We are definitely in collegiate. I love it.
I really don't know what is going on there. Many of the Martyrs have just literally Google guides on what are the hardest to play champions in every role, and just said, well, let's just roll with it. Like, I'm actually shocked, but the Riven getting locked in for UCD is literally a spanner in the works. Yeah, I was going to say that Swain is a very flexible pick. I have seen Swain bot lane being flexed around there a bit, so it's not so much of a surprise to see it in the Swain AD carry position. But again, Swain just post rework Still need to figure out his strengths. I've heard he's quite strong. I've seen him myself in the Rift. The ulti times are real. Just recasting the ulti. That's also a nice change. A lot of his damage being rooted back into his basic abilities as well. So he's more like, again, with the battle mage style. So hopefully it works out. What that'll do versus Zeri Pyke, I do not know. We will probably have to find out. But so far, I think both these comps teams are... I don't know, yeah, it's going to be interesting, Rack. I don't know what you're thinking so far, but so far I'm kind of favouring the Leviathans just for a bit of simplicity there. They do have a lot of team fight potential. Okay, Riven throws a spanner, but you could easily just throw her, get a 4-1 going on, put Riven in the side lane and just fight with the remaining members, or maybe even 1-3-1 with Wukong on the side. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely favour the red side. For there's a few reasons. Firstly, I think that your simplicity argument is definitely applicable. I think that's correct. The second thing that I would establish is that I think Pyke has a really hard match due to things like the high HP pools that come from this red side and the general survivability. Riven obviously has like pseudo sustain thanks to things like her shield coming up multiple times a fight, which keeps her outside of the Pyke ultimate range. Wukong obviously insane sustain with Conqueror and his constant application of his armor passive. Not as relevant given the double AP threat, but still relevant. And then obviously a lot of these guys being mages are going to get HP within their item builds, purely going to obviously increase the health pool required for the Pyke ult threshold. So the champion loses quite a bit of value in that regard. And I don't even think the matchup in lane is particularly terrifying. So it's a very tough Pyke game now that comes across. And obviously Karthus also a champion that is not going to be the greatest unless you're allowed to power farm freely. With a red side composition that likes to come alive early and can definitely brawl you in those early stages, I think it makes actually being allowed to perma-farm in the jungle position quite difficult.
Going to be interesting, but we will throw to a quick break before we get into the first game of the day, lads. Do not go anywhere. And we're on the Rift for game 1 of the last day of Swiss stage, where we have UCD Betas going up against the Maynooth Martyrs, or the MTU Wraiths even. But at the moment here, we are starting the game live. With me is Recollect. Recollect, how are you feeling now that the Champ Select has rounded out? Now we've seen what they've picked. Now we've gotten into the game. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling very, very good. Excited, as I say, to see how they end up playing it out. As we do see an early Karthus invade there on the top-hand side onto the red buff. So not a proper 5-point defense coming through here from the Betas. It's going to get slightly punished. The question is, are they going to be aware of this potential, should we say, camp-based issue that might come out throughout this early game if they're not paying attention? Because they haven't got any wards on that top side. So they might end up putting Trinity College in a really difficult position.
Trinity College is always in a difficult position in the UCD years, but at the moment here, we've got the Riven and Kesante matchup. I'm not too familiar with the top lane matchup, but Swain and Tazeri, especially new Swain, is going to be an interesting one that I haven't seen too much of, so I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. It's going to be AP versus AD. Also, Swain has opted to take the support item start as well. I'm not sure if that's an issue or something there, but he did start the support item.
I mean, it's spicy, I'll tell you that much. There might be one of those cases of they split farm, because there was a period in League of Legends history where you would take double support item, you would then have one as the primary farmer, should we say, then you would swap the farm halfway through to snowball your support, but it's not great. As we see, a little bit of trading here going on the bottom side, but they're just sort of vibing, they're just feeling themselves out here at the start. Yeah,
I mean, at the moment, it's all to play for early game. Swain versus Zeri Pyke. I mean, I can't imagine he's going to have too much of a fun time early, but we'll have to find out as we're seeing the level 2 come in here. UCD Beta is going to kind of hover away a bit there, but a nice pull from Pyke going down. Swain super low at the moment. Zeri pushing really hard for this, looking to try and get the first blood. Seriously nice trades coming out there for the side of MTU. Is there anything they can do right now? The Pyke looking for the hook, but not going to connect. This Swain lands the pull. Flash force to the Fluffy. First blood going over to Penta the King.
Oh, firstly, he was looking... Oh, okay, more.
It's still going on here as the Ignite comes through from the Rakan right now. Swain looking for the pull, but Zeri E going to barely save her life. But overall, 1 kill for the UCD Betas. Meanwhile, in the top lane, another fight looks to have been breaking out there with both top laners being incredibly low as well.
That's a tough dash angle. Oh, no, hello.
As Earthshaker is now forced to blow his flash himself, we do see off that Riven did take out Kesante. Trinity College now going to potentially help the Riven here, and he does see Karthus is very low, so they know Karthus can't force anything, but Lonely Lemon forced to use the flash as well, trying to get that kill onto the Hui. Both mid laners barely standing here, and I mean overall just fights across the board, Recollect.
I mean, it's a bloody one. The initial play on the bottom side looks really, really good from the Floofy. I'm going to call him the Floofy Korean, because I think that makes the most sense. Unfortunately, not able to show off the technique at the second time of asking, and does end up falling for first blood. Great dash to escape from Pekwi, but unfortunately, you know, it's still not ideal, and then we see flashes blown everywhere else across the Rift. Overall, benefit does go over to the Betas. The real question now is how are they going to be able to snowball their advantage utilizing these flashes that are blown. Trinity College looking to do something here, but remember, Floofy already there to cover and no Swain able to help either.
You do see the Undertale going to connect there onto Trinity College. Rakan as well going to let a hand. Dragon is going to be spawning fairly soon as well. We see both teams right now trying to get the setup going on. Karthus Zeri against Wukong, Swain, Rakan. I kind of fancy UCD's chances of getting first drag here, although I wouldn't put it past with that Pyke to maybe try and force something towards his mid lane, as we see the Pyke already coming mid, looking for the kill onto the Galio. Galio trying to get away, the hook does not connect.
Now, I'm going to go off topic a little bit. You remember that discussion we had at the start about how Earthshaker was allowed to start enemy red?
Yeah.
That has slowly but surely snowballed into this massive CS advantage here for the Karthus. Already up several camps, almost double farm now. Thanks to that little invade that happened at the start. And on top of that, you have to remember that they don't necessarily have the best camp timers because they did the enemy camps first. So they kind of need to do this topside crab to really have any relevance. And French Lady not really respecting that clear jungle pathing situation. But it's not going to matter. Trinity College now slowly but surely starting to fall behind.
They're trying to go in aggressively here. Riven trying to find something. Kesante is also taking a bit of a ras there from the Wukong, although they can't find anything. It was a nice cover from Trinity College to make sure something happened. Meanwhile, something happening here. We do see Pike trying to connect that E onto the Swain of the Rakan, but it looks like it's not enough. Pike trying to run away a bit with his tail between his legs, but that does leave the Zeri vulnerable right now. Hook does not connect onto either of them. The pull from the Swain also lands. Floofy trying to get out of there, but a nice undertow going to stun the Rakan. Overall, just a bit of a trade back and forth. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, we see Hui picking up a kill onto the Galio.
Yeah, that's definitely something that shouldn't happen in that matchup, so I'm kind of surprised to see it happen. Not entirely sure what did occur. I imagine just a case of Hui full combo, perhaps an overstay occurring given that the teleport is still available, and then just dying. But yeah, not really too much to say about it aside from Earthshaker is casually full clearing and vibing aggressively.
Earthshaker is literally just playing like classic solo queue gameplay strategy. Do not go near anyone and just get tons and tons of farm. And I mean, all he really needs to do is just wait till level 6, get first item before anyone else, and I think he can solo carry the game here. I mean, Earthshaker is already up versus Wukong. I know Wukong and the boys can do stuff later on, but at the moment, I mean, having your Karthus start off kind of relatively ahead of the Wukong does mean it's going to be potentially a bit easier when those ultis start coming through, trying to get those executes. But it's yet to be seen as UCD Betas still up a kill and also have that Swain with one of those kills, and also have, well, actually they don't really have CS leads in any of the other roles. You see bot lane and mid lane both behind in farm, same for jungle.
I think the most impressive thing is the way that they are clearing in such a way that their camps are always on cooldown, so they always have sufficient timing. The reason they did the void grubs there is because obviously every camp was down. While they were doing grubs, their bot side comes up. So I would expect them to path down towards the bottom side. Instead, pathing up to the top side, knowing that the dragon is gone. I think the assumption here is, oh, if they take dragon, they're probably going to invade and take my camps, or we can look to a play on the top side, then I can do enemy top camps, then I'm ahead. So Earthshaker releasing the game ahead of time. I'm now going to stop glazing their jungler and we'll look at something else.
As we do see Floofy right now looking for something onto the Riven here. Hook connects, nicely done. In comes the undertow, going to land as well, but he's not level 6, keep that in mind. Riven is level 7, a level up on the Kesante, so she does hold them off there, so that's a bit of a wasted roam timer. Meanwhile, while that happened, Rakan gets taken out by the Zeri in a 1v2 situation there, and Zeri appears to be just styling on him. Trinity College now going to get found by Earthshaker. Earthshaker now assistance from the Pike. 1v2 at the moment. Can he do something? Trinity College trying to do something, but 1v2. We can't even see the fight because we panned away from it, but Zeri's just taking out the Swain and taking out the Rakan. This is just fight after fight as Hibbymon in response. French Lady picking up the kill, but the ulti comes through from the cards. Is it enough damage? No, it is not. And oh my god, it's been a bloodbath, Recollect.
Yeah, that is a lost chapter, Karthus. He does not deal damage yet. Give him a few minutes to get the items. We are snowballed in XP, but not in items yet. Double kill on the bottom side, was it not, from the Zeri, which is kind of surprising.
On her own as well. That was a 1v2.
Yeah, just casual. I mean, there must have been some serious misplays. That's the only explanation in my head, aside from, you play it very well, but they have to make mistakes for that to occur. But I mean, your win conditions are alive. Your Karthus is snowballed. Your Zeri is fed now. Your Kesante is mildly running it, but aside from that, you're doing significantly better than I was expecting with this composition. So well done to the Wraiths in terms of snowballing the game in their favor.
Who will win in the fight? The 2-0 Zeri or the 2-0 Riven? That is what we've yet to find out. That's what we really want to know.
Top laner.
Well, one of those is a champion with 200 years of game design behind her, so I'm hoping
that is true. I didn't consider that.
Meanwhile, though, I mean, as we can clearly see, Zeri nearly holding her own 1v2 there. Wukong has passed towards bot side, so maybe they might overextend here. They're looking for the hook onto the Swain, though. Not going to connect.
The real factor we need to consider is it ever a 1v1 when there's a Karthus in the game? That's the real question that the Lord must answer. On the subject of on the subject of being there, Trinity College is around.
They're looking for something really nice undertow from the Pike there, but I think he might have just walked a bit too far forward. Zeri going to use her own ulti, trying to do something, trying to get away with dear life. Swain popping the ulti. Can they take out Rakan before she dies? No, she cannot, and that's a shutdown going over to Trinity College, putting UCD Betas back into what appears to be the driver's seat.
It also might help to salvage that jungle situation, as that's a massive shutdown going over to the Wukong, who was starting to fall behind. In the meantime, I think there was a solo kill on the top side, perhaps, because I think it was a 0-2 slash 2-0
I
before.
believe
could have seen
so,
this.
in the middle of that fight, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't fully see what happened or the timing of it, but it was somewhere around there. Oh, that's rough. Oh, that's really rough.
And here's
Oh,
Trinity
that
College
is-
as well to try and push way off.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. Luckily, there's going to provide a little bit of that damage reduction to help out. But oh,
Oh my god.
that is a scorch proc, by the way, to get that kill. I just want to point that out really quick. I think was it scorch or it might have been the Leandri's component actually that might have procced that. It was one or the other.
That was kind of
but
ridiculous.
I want to say it was scorch.
Meanwhile, it's kind of lulled for the first time all game, so we can finally talk unless something decides to break out in the 1v2 here. But overall, I mean, what do you think so far? I think Floofy's trying to roam, he's trying to do what he can, he's trying to really make himself known. It hasn't worked out well so far, but that doesn't stop him doing it, and I think he's definitely trying to get MTU back in here, trying to get some kills. As we clearly see in the top lane here, Riven fighting against Sante. Riven is quite strong though, she needs to be very careful. Trinity College is also wrapping around, potentially looking to do something. Trying to get the kill, the ignite comes through. French Lady picks up that kill onto the Sante. Meanwhile though, Pyke and the jungler have actually found Wukong here, forcing the ulti out of the Galio. Meanwhile though, Galio can't save Wukong, and that's just a wasted ulti.
Yeah, the global power of just pressing R was too strong to kill off the Wukong at the very end. And whilst there are some minor misplays, it's still a 1-for-1. It seems as though this is going to have to be a case of Riven against the world with the way that this game is starting to snowball. The question is, can the French lady deliver on what's necessary? The split push potential obviously is there. Can we see anything become more controlled in the other aspects of the map, though?
That's kind of the question, because at the moment it's very tough right now for the side of MTU. I think UCD Betas are going to do something. I think MTU Wraiths are also... It's very hard to play for so far, and I really do think, despite what I say, there's always an option for either team to win it right now, and I really just think it's down to whoever kind of scales into this mid-game better and who plays it better. Because at the moment we see one dragon to UCD Betas. Next dragon has spawned. It's going to be the Chemtech dragon as well. Doesn't look like anyone's pathing towards it right now, as we see what this MTU jungler recalling, and we see Trinity College gonna pass towards the dragon, so a fight might break out soon.
Yeah, the other thing I'm not 100% sure is I think that was a 6 grub game here for the Wraiths as well, which kind of takes away from the power of Riven potentially splitting later on. So they can't really utilize that as a potential win condition as you go later and later into the game. So they really need to get towards this dragon stacking, but with the way that the lanes are sort of established and the way that the pressure is, it's kind of hard for the Betas to really do as much as they want to.
I mean, at the moment, they're trying to just get some kills down here. Galio trying to walk away right now as the UCD Betas hold their own there for now, but Dragon is spawned, and Earthshaker is clearing the Scuttle Crab to try and set up for this.
I mean, the jukes are pretty strong from Scuttle. I don't hit those, to be fair. So it is what it is. Like, you know, you got to respect it. The flash being blown there from the Pyke, very important. Likely going to matter as we go on. You can't look for these E flash R plays to get multi-man, stuns to open things up. It limits your playability. So definitely for one of your engaged tools, it does hurt. And when your engaged tools are lacking their spells, you kind of have to prepare ahead of time and force the enemy to walk into them. So we're going to see them try and push out this bot wave, try and push out this mid wave, try and walk in. But the issue is that the Betas have kind of already gotten themselves the control. Might be looking to make a play here on Agatu in the mid lane. Keep an eye on Hui.
Hui is trying to defend here, going to try and stop the tower down. It looks like they've done that so far. Meanwhile, Pyke is here looking for the hook. Look at the Pyke right now, hitting that hook onto Rakan. Nicely done, but Rakan going to use his Dome W to get away from there. Meanwhile, Wukong and Trinity College actually taken incredibly low. As the Karthus ulti comes out, down goes the Wukong. Can they get a kill back in response? They do, but in response to that, they take out Rakan. And it's French Lady trying to take out Earthshaker here as Galio ulti trying to keep French Lady alive, and it looks like he might just go down anyway. Zeri going to use the lightning crash, going E over that wall, going to look for the kill onto the Riven. Yes, it does. UCD Betas looking hard for anything right now, but it turns out Earthshaker stays alive. And this ends up so much better for MTU.
Yep, they just straight up ace. It's a clean 5 for 1, 5 for 2, I think. I think 5 for 1 maybe. But it's nice. I thought Earthshaker was gonna die to the dragon. That would have been awful. Yeah, I mean, it's just clean stuff here from the Wraiths. I went into this thinking that they were the underdogs for this game. Looks like it's flipped around, and if anything, they're looking kind of dominant in this one.
Yeah, MTU Wraiths went out 4-0 Hui. You got a 2-0 Karthus. Both completed their first item in a bit right now. Both kind of scaling a bit. We actually see the Dark Seal as well on Karthus, potentially looking to convert that into a Medjai's.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to power farm and press R to get kills, Medjai's is pretty nice. In order to snowball, Luffy looking aggressive, isn't going to be able to find anything just yet. Is alone, by the way. This Pike is
Yeah, I was thinking this. Is there anyone? Well, I mean,
absolute
he's never alone with
monster.
Karthus, but Karthus doesn't have ore, so it's not the same.
He's with you in spirit and flair, if nothing else. But yeah, there's really not... I thought that there was going to be scaling issues for this blue side, but if anything, the champions that you wanted to scale the hardest did kind of get the kills. You know, your Zeri, your Hui, and your Karthus. If anyone in your composition is scaling, admittedly, would like Pyke to have a few more, given the way his ult works.
1 second, as I gotta just get 1 second.
Scenario. Now, we are seeing the game start to sort of calm down finally. We can address the game state a little bit more. The French lady is up 20 CS, is up 5 kills, is still relevant, is building into, I think, the Eclipse next, as we see a little bit of a pick going on onto Pen to the King. Just going to be walking away from that one, but the Swain is chunked out. Slowly but surely, the game looking salvageable, but tough. You are down 5k, you need to start to reach a point where you can centralize and stabilize, and with these turrets slowly but surely falling, as we see here from Piqui in the bottom side,
Return.
it is slowly happening. The Herald seems to be the focus. It's the only neutral up, so it makes complete sense. They're going to take that one as they please. The question is where they're going to drop it. They've already taken all of these outer turrets. And off screen, we've just seen Zerius fighting for her life, by the way, on the bottom side. Spectator, I beg. There we go. With her. Run. Just straight up murdered the Galio amongst 4 people and ran away. I love the riot spectate, because it's like, what is more important? This guy just slapping away at the Herald with no one contested, or the 1v4 Zeri fighting just to survive? Nah. Bye, Shelly. My apologies, just grabbing some water quickly. As I believe OBK is...
I have just returned, unfortunately.
Well,
my brother's bed just collapsed on him, so I had to help him not die. That's a rare interruption there.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. I mean, you know what? Your brother's bed just wanted some attention, and I think that's something we can all vibe with.
Meanwhile, speaking of attention here, Pyke getting a lot of attention in that middle lane as they look for something. Swain going to use the ulti. Can MTU do something here? UCD pick up a kill. MTU currently trying to walk away from there, but a lot of low members for the side of UCD Betas. Currently, Earthshaker taking out the Rakan, and the ulti is going to get used here for the Requiem. Can he get anyone? No, but in comes Zeri. Has the Lightning Crash available, going to use it, but that kill going over to the Karthus, and Hui going to pick up this one. So overall, though, it's going super well for MTU Wraiths, as they pick themselves up an ace nearly without the ribbon. Yeah.
It's just clean and clinical, to be honest with you. The game is looking completely destructive at this point. It's 15-10, 3 dead, turrets getting slapped around at 18 to 19 minutes, and Lady's trying to do something.
Trying to get some kill back, but I mean, that doesn't do anything, does it?
That something is die, and they succeeded, unfortunately. So the turret will fall, and the inhib will now be the focus, potentially.
I mean, they can't end right now, but they're in a really commanding spot. I mean, 19 minutes in, looking to push inhib is very good for any team, especially considering they're 10k up nearly at 20 minutes into the game. Pushing Rift Herald to take this tier 2 top tier as well. This is crazy.
Yeah, it is ridiculous for what we were expecting. The turret's going to fall on the top side. The gold lead is 10k at this point. Another Pyke hook is hitting. It's just... oh, it's a little bit disgusting.
Hard to imagine that when you've got an 0-4 top laner and an 0-4 support, that this team is absolutely dominating. But you just see that jungle mid and 80 carry for the side of MTU Wraiths. You just see how much impact they've had throughout this whole game. Yeah,
I mean, it's diabolical. It's absolutely shocking. It's a disturbing situation to have to fight up against. I'm not entirely sure if I was playing how much I'd be able to do about it. It just feels so difficult to actually play. You know, it really is tough to find the way through. And I'm wondering how the side of Betas are going to be able to navigate this situation in order to try and come back into it, because the Dragon is being focused. That's another neutral objective now going over to the Wraiths. At this point, the snowball just continues to roll.
MTU Wraiths are just firmly in the driver's seat, and I mean, they're just going to walk into the enemy jungle now and try and kill anyone who comes near, which looks to be swaying as the hook does connect there onto the Wukong. Trinity College trying to run away with his life, but Zeri goes in with a really nice two-man lightning crash there. Down goes another to the Karthus Requiem, and that is straight 2 kills for MTU Wraiths already. This is very tough. Baron just spawning as well. MTU can just walk into that right now.
Yeah, they can. And they can. I don't expect them to. I think they're just going to slowly but surely push down this bot turret, take that first. They don't need to do something like flip the Baron. Obviously, Trinity College is currently dead, but the amount of time it'll take them to get over there and then start it, he'll probably be alive and potentially walking over. So they might be scared of that. They're just going to take what they can. Maybe take another kill, because why not? There goes a freebie. Death from below going to get used to give us that little bit of extra gold. And now the Galio goes in 1v4.
Nice hook connects though from the pike there actually, and they do take out the Galio. 20-10 right now in kills from MTU Wraiths. An inhibitor goes down mid lane. They're looking for the bottom inhibitor. They're looking to end the game as Swain blows the flash from Kesante. Is he going to use the all out? Nearly goes. Going hyper aggressive here, looking for something, but the members of MTU are actually incredibly low, and it looks like UCD Betas see this. They're looking for something, but so much nice kiting from the Zeri keeps her alive, keeps the damage coming. And is this going to be the end of the game? It may very well be. MTU Wraiths trying to push this in. Lightning Crash gets used again. And oh my god, the cooldowns on this MTU team are non-existent.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be able to get the game just yet, unfortunately. But again, the gold balloons even further. It was at 10k, we're up to 12 now. I mean, it's reaching the point where it just feels insurmountable.
There's only so many objectives you can take as UCD Betas to try and come back into this before you really have to deal with the very, very, very fed members of MTU Wraiths. So I think UCD, they could turtle up right now. They could try and scale a bit longer. It is only 22 minutes into the game. I know it's a tough situation, but they do get that bit of a cash injection from killing super minions all the time. They just have to hope that MTU Wraiths aren't behind those super minions, because otherwise I believe the game will be over fairly shortly.
You know what? Some people would take Baron, but as a wise man once said, why take an objective when you can take a life? And I think that's kind of what Wraiths are vibing with at this point. They've already taken enough objectives. You know, they've taken all of these grubbies. They've taken 2 of the dragons. They could play slow for the soul if they want to. It feels like all they need to do to win this one is just limit mistakes. They don't need to push their advantage particularly far, because the Betas don't really have a way back into the game unless errors start to occur. They're going to try and group up, try and get vision to, you know, limit the mistakes they can make, but it's just so difficult.
I mean, here we go. They've started the Baron. MTU Wraiths just melting it right now. Already at 5k. And I mean, they got to clear super minions. They can't touch this Baron.
Yep, there's full vision, no globals. Just take it now. This is what I mean. They don't take it initially. They make sure they get the vision. They make sure they choke the enemy out, force them to go back to answer those supers. Then they can go and do the Baron. It's just clinical stuff. It is basic League, but it's so powerful and so difficult to play against.
Especially when you're just hitting those pikeys really easily on one member. Like, look how low French Lady is already. Forced to retreat out of there. Requiem connects. Is that going to be enough damage to take out this Riven? Potentially not, but overall still a nice trade there. Azeri goes hyper aggressive, looking for something with the flash ulti available. And I mean, we see UCD Betas incredibly low right now. Down goes the Rakan. Lightning Crash going to be used by that Zeri. Going to engage in here. Looking to take this last inhibitor turret. Looking to potentially end this game. MTU looking to push, looking to do something here, and as they take one Nexus turret, Zeri on her own there, and I think UCD see this, they're trying to dive it, Peel coming out there, Taunt gonna get used, Galio trying to do something, trying to look for a kill, trying to look for an angle, but down goes the Wukong, down goes the Swain, and that is going to be the game. Game 1 of the day goes to the MTU Wraiths.
The MTU Wraiths just absolutely obliterating the Betas. I mean, beta by name, beta by nature in this series. Absolute destruction. We'll see if they can manage to salvage the rest of their split, shall we say, and manage to make it to progression. At this point, though, it's very difficult with so many teams on that 6-2 marker.
I mean, at the moment, you've got, as I was saying earlier on, if one of the teams that is 6-2 right now, they're 6-3 if they've lost. I think one of them has to, because 2 of the 6-2 teams are playing each other. And at that point, you're 5-4, and the next team is 6-3. That's a reasonable shot that if they lose their next game, potentially that puts you in contention with a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
But overall,
But as you
well
say-
played.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it didn't look close. You know, they went into it with a draft that I thought was losing, and then just blew the opposition out of the water. So I could just be delusional, or they could just be significantly better, or it could be a bit of both. But either way, they played it very, very well. They played very, very well.
I mean, props to the MTU Wraiths there. I think they just played it really well from the get-go. I mean, it was a bit rough early on, a lot of fights back and forward, but as soon as they got in control, got Earthshaker ahead, got the mid laner ahead, I really do think that it was just insurmountable for UCD Betas. And I really think, yeah, as you said, beta by nature there, unfortunately, it was tough for them. They did try, they did put up a big effort there. Riven put up a good shot as well, but unfortunately, it just was not enough to stop the MTU Wraiths snowballing out of control. But we are going to throw it to a quick break before game 2, but we will be back shortly, lads. Please do not go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, for our final game of the day of Ireland Esports Collegiate Series Winter, for the final day of Swiss stage, where we are just about to very shortly kick off what may be a game that gets a team through to the playoff stage. With me, of course, Recollect. How are you getting on, man?
I'm doing all right. We're a little bit thrown off by obviously the delays that we've had, which is perfectly okay. So just trying to reacquaint myself with the matchups we've got on for this evening. But yeah, looking forward to it. Glad to be getting back into the bit that we're happy about. You know, we're fine with waiting around, but we're here for the League of Legends. So hopefully we can get that started very, very soon.
So we are going to be casting UCC up against DUES, where at the moment we're just kind of kicking off right now, but both these teams are currently 5-4, and I think it really is all to play for. I assume both these teams must have been 4-4 and got the 5-4, or 5-3 and lost the 5-4, but it's basically all to play for so far. We have a lot of teams on 5-4 and a lot of teams on 6-3, which means basically it is all to play for, because any of those 6-3 teams lose, any of these 5-4 teams win, we've got us a tiebreak, and I believe it goes on the Buchholz score for which teams get through the tiebreaks. So we'll have to find out how that happens later on. But so far, I think a key game is going to be the game we're going to be casting now between UCC and DUES, because this will be very important to get that extra win to go in, to make sure you have the good chance of getting through to the playoff stage as we just kick off the ban phase for DUES.
Uh,
All right,
so,
well, my bad. They
as
are
we-
making a new link, it broke.
You see, because as a true connoisseur of both food, fine wine, and League of Legends lobbies, what do you like more than waiting with your waiting? It is
I
what
like
it is.
extra waiting.
You do. I'm glad. One might say that if you had a job, you'd be a waiter.
I believe so. I believe I'd be really good in a queue. I'd press Q and be in a queue, because right now we're been waiting a wee bit here for the game. Sorry for the delay, everyone, but we are just hopefully kicking it off here, as I believe there's other issues with the ban phase in the draft lol.
Imagine,
so yeah, okay, we're gonna kick it off from there. We are.
Imagine the client's just broken, and we just can't play anymore. It's just done for the day. Just be the worst situation.
It's going to be interesting as we're just hopping in. If
Hey.
you aren't aware, we have issues with the first bans. So I believe the first ban was Jinx for UCC, and I don't know who DUES banned. So interesting. The first one's Aurora, and that was a Z ban. So Zed obviously against Asher, who is a Z OTP. Makes sense to ban it against him. He might like to take Kiana or something else. Haven't seen him play in a while, but he'd mostly be an assassin player for UCC. Don't know much about DUES and what they might pick, but they're banning the Kai'Sa against NYBM, hovering the Ashe. Ashe has been a very strong pick, played, of course, by Gumayushi at Worlds to a lot of success, but I also think in general, in these competitive settings, mixed divisions, something like Ashe works so well. You got slow on auto, so much utility off the E and the ulti. You can make a lot of plays off the champion, and overall, it's just a really good pick. But they say, no, screw this. I'm not going to play for team. Here's a Senna.
Yeah, the question here is whether we'll see it be played in the fasting position or just as a raw support. I've been seeing it a lot more as the raw support, although I did see it in a fasting position yesterday in my own matches. And that's that's hell, is what we've just unleashed upon the poor Cannoneer over here. You remember like playing League of Legends and like to me, Senna is a champion who is kind of still stuck in the COVID era. You know, she loves social distancing. Like, she wants to stay away from you and keep her range and distance as much as possible. Blitzcrank is more of he's a hands-on kind of guy, you know? He is not letting you leave his general vicinity, so it'll be a battle of range in the bottom lane.
And I mean, speaking of charmers that love to get up close and personal, Samira paired with that as well, straight from my nightmares. Snowball machine, output a lot of damage, can get a first item collector to get the execute, and especially with a low HP Senna paired with another AD carry, it's going to be interesting. Neela, though, getting locked in. We're going for the double, well, I wouldn't call Samira melee, but, you know, the double melee bot lane matchup, really, with we got Neela and Samira. So it should, both the windwallers, the double windwallers, let's call it that.
Yep, the sustain will also be noticeable, obviously, with Neela enhancing any sort of healing and shielding that is done, so obviously helps in that kind of regard. On top of that, you've got to consider aspects such as the auto attack blocking that could be applied to both each other, thanks to the Neela. I don't necessarily think it's that insane into Samira, but obviously any matchup where the center gets picked first is going to be good. Alternatively, this is a very low range sort of burst-based comp that's being picked up here from the blue side.
Meanwhile, red side have opted for a bit more team fight potential, a bit more lockdown. We see the Amumu getting picked there as well. Paired with the Blitzcrank and the Samira, it's a lot of setup for something like a Samira, because you just chuck an Amumu ulti down, Samira dashes in, gets up to S, and immediately just pops an ulti to clear a very low HP UCC team so far. But again, all reliant on Samira even being alive and not getting bursted down.
Yeah, absolutely. And the question for that is, at the moment, having seen the way these compositions start to come about, it kind of feels like whoever goes in first is going to win. Obviously, there is the caveat of Senna can just poke you from a million range, but are we going to reach the Senna dream late game? I don't know if we'll actually see ourselves reach that kind of stacks. But anything that can be a reliable go button here is likely what we're going to see picked up next for the red side. More go buttons are always good. So I expect those to be more banned out in this second phase.
I also think UCC need a heavy bruiser or a big tank to kind of round out this comp. So I don't know what they'd rather maybe get an Ornn, just something generic big tanky man with like an Ornn, like a Maokai or something, just something beefy. But yeah, I don't know really. UCC need to pick something anyway. But I mean, DBS, they've opened up the floodgates there. They can pretty much throw AD or AP at them. Mid laner, looking at the Nico locked in there, I actually quite like that. Again, pairs well for their team fight. DBS just want to take a really nasty looking team fight. And UCC, we have to see how they render their comp right now, because they're going to have to make their next two picks here. And it's looking like the Syndra locked in there. So we've got double AP for this potentially here for the side of UCC. Top lane, I mean, what are your options really here? Maybe you pick a big tanky man. Kesante is an option. I mean,
yeah,
Ornn. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Things like, well, you can go down a lot of options. Typically, the magic resistance sets. I mean, Silas is obviously great into the Nico and the Imumu matchups. You can go things like this. The Mundo, it's always a Mundo angle if they're AP heavy. So you can go this Mundo. You can go like Maokai. You could have gone a couple other options, but this is definitely one. They lack the greatest. AD. Yeah, so Mundo can quite effectively stack. The question is, what can you now run into the Mundo? The obvious things you could run, the AD base, you kind of run weird situations like Jace, an option, Pantheon, or you can just go even further into AP, I guess, and go Mordekaiser. So this Mundo likely going to have a field day just stacking the MR, and it's going to be hard for a champion like Samira to necessarily melt through him, given how high his HP is and how he kind of just endlessly sustains once he gets things like Spirit's Visage at a later date. If he does need, an AD resistance item, he can go like Unending Despair, which synergizes so well with his kit anyway inherently. So I love me some Mundo. Anyone who knows me says it's always a Mundo angle, and it feels like one.
I mean, Mundo does well. I think UCC have a bit more AD, but yeah, I think you're right. I think DUES really lack AD here. Samira, pretty much the only threat right now. Does mean that Mundo can just stack MR. I also worry for how much output Senna and Neela are going to have in this game as well, because I mean, besides the Blitzcrank, maybe Mordekaiser frontlining, they've a lot of range. It's quite short range for the side of DBS. Melee top laner, you get the melee support. I know Samira can throw those Qs out and has a bit more auto, but she's still kind of short range. So it'd be interesting to see how the team fights happen. Although looking at the team fight standpoint, I do like DUES's comp. And I do think it would be nice. Like, it's a simple press R comp. And just get it.
What I will say about Neela is, to me, it's the bot lane. It is, in most roles, there is a stat check champion. And in my brain, Neela classifies as the AD carry stat check champion. And the idea being is that if she's ever outscaled, she can't really function because she requires going in and being in melee range to actually function effectively. So if we do see any kind of snowball happen on the bottom side, she kind of can just press W, ignore the auto attacks. I believe she still gets an MR. Is it MR boost as well when she Ws, or am I just being deluded making that up? That is possible, I'm just making that up. But I think she gets like a portion of magic damage reduced as well. And then she just is a nightmare. So if she ever reaches a point where like Diana ganks bot lane once, or Silas takes the Nico ult and then walks bot lane and they kill, this Neela Senna lane can actually snowball just as hard as a lot of these other more stereotypical bot lanes we tend to see. So to me, the bot lane is going to be very bloody. I don't expect it to be particularly passive. Whereas in the top side, you're looking more towards this Mundo side to look to scale and play much more of a weaker side of the matchup, should we say.
I think you're right. I think you've got it dead on. But we're going to have to throw it to a quick break to find out, lads. We will be back soon. Please stay with us. And we are in game for our final game of the day between UCC NetSoc Rebels and DUES League, where we are just about to kick off what looks to be an invade from both teams here, a counter invade and an invade. We're already getting into some pretty dangerous stuff right now. Recollect, what are you thinking, man? He's thinking a lot of big things here at the moment. He's thinking, oh my god, DUES League, what are you guys doing? You guys are crazy right now. They're looking for an invade because DUES are pathing already through the golems, looking towards this red. I'm not sure if UCC NetSoc Rebels are going to find them. They probably will because Blitzcrank's walking forward immediately and unfortunately, potentially to his death here. Senna doing a lot with that Q. Anyone going to go down? Blitzcrank is incredibly low, but down goes the Neela. That's a first blood going over to Samira. Not done just yet. You see Senna on her own as well, trying to do something here, but that's going to be 3 kills going over to DUES. Oh my god, did this not go very well for UCC NetSoc? 4 kills going over to DUES League, and oh my god, 2 kills on the Samira, 1 kill on the Amumu, 1 kill on the Mordekaiser. God help us all. This is a start. Recollect, how are you feeling, man?
Rest in pieces, bot lane matchup. This is a little bit diabolical. I love nothing more than when my opponent early game AD carry starts the lane with a Dirk. That's not scary at all. This is going to be a diabolical situation because the AoE available for Joss is terrifying. Having said that, nice trade here from Silas to try and get back into the game, but it's going to be playing from behind is the name of the game, and we'll see how well they can play it.
I think it was also unfortunate because GWS invaded, but it looked like UCC had the counter invade ready to go and they were ready to do something. It just ended up the case that they just could not convert anything there, couldn't pick up any kills. And I mean, just Senna and the boys just putting out what they could. Senna was a bit on her own there. Thought she was going to go down at the very end, but she didn't. But she was the only one who didn't go down there for UCC. And right now, DUES, you got the Dirk start from Samira. If she gets level 2 first, it's going to be a nightmare. As we see already, a trade going there from Asher right there onto the Nico. Nico incredibly low, but doing what she can do there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Silas does so much damage in these shorter burst-based trades. So we get stuff there from Asher to land the E. Gonna have to start to slowly bring the game back and find a place of control. The one thing they do obviously lack, aside from gold, is they need to find their point of win condition at the moment. That top side, that Mundo, you don't expect it to be that dominant early. But, you know, Squavo doing a little bit of damage.
He's doing what he can right now. He's staying alive for the minute, does have TP available as well if needed. But yeah, as we see, because Samira hasn't been punished just yet, that lead is still there. So already you have that Dirk start. Neela just says, screw it, I'm not taking any more trades here, and immediately goes for the Cull. I kind of appreciate that because you're kind of just conceding the lane here. You're just going to sit back under turret and just do what you can to pick up some CS because it's going to be a tough ride, Buckaroo.
Yeah, it couldn't have gone to anyone worse as well, given the fact that we just discussed how important like the stat check aspect of this matchup is for the Neela side. And then you just don't get to play it. So it's like amazing. Now I'm just crying myself to sleep this evening, it would seem.
I think like it's a caster curse for UCC though, I think really, wasn't it?
You know what? If it's a caster curse, it's because one's on the team. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we move, we move. So I think the real question now to address is what can they do in terms of stemming the bleeding and starting to catch up? Do they have to sacrifice these neutrals? Can they try and make a place to drag around and maybe gain some CS advantages? It's going to be a tough one to work out.
I do think DBS immediately in position in the next minute to just take a dragon immediately. And Amumu is also going to help snowball this Samira, just throw some wards down, really just scare the living daylights out of UCC Netzlog Rebels here. The bot lane are... Hopefully Mental is not in shambles, but if I was UCC, I would not be a happy camper as Blitzcrank looking for the hook, looking to do something. There does connect onto the Neela, trying to get something back, trying to pick up a kill there, and Amumu is there, but they can't convert it. Ignite also used by the Blitzcrank. Maybe they thought they had a bit more damage than they did there, but NYBM did very well to hold himself.
Yeah, I think it's also worth giving a sort of shout out to the sustain power this duo does have. Remember, this Neela enhancing the heals that they get from this Senna gives them just a little bit more HP than you would normally expect them to receive at such a low level. That little bit of healing does start to stack up, and it does obviously matter quite heavily when you're getting ganked in these kind of situations. So it is going to be the Summoners blown from the red side. Crucially, the cleanse wasn't used, so that is still available. Interesting. To have that one for when Amumu comes back at level 6 onwards. But for now, the game's starting to stabilize in the way that we wanted it to. And actually, the CS advantage going the other way, the Samira being the one that's slightly down here, is obviously going to catch this wave to catch up.
At the moment, though, NYBM pushing maybe a bit too aggressively there, but Diana actually looks to be the one to start this first dragon up as well for the side of UCC. Complete switch, because Amumu is currently topside, so this is just a free dragon for UCC Netzlog.
Yeah, the timing is excellent too, because the grubs have not yet spawned, so there's a chance we can do something along the lines of take this, clear up towards the top side, and then you can be there to defend those grubbies if you would like to. With Silas sitting level 6 as well, he's kind of online for where he would want to be, and that can be so dangerous. Oh no.
That was a nice hook connecting from the Blitzcrank onto the Senna. Forced to use the barrier and the flash, looking for a bit more aggressive there, but Samir's actually incredibly low. Blitzcrank thinking he's enough damage to do something there, but it's not going to be enough as NYBM chases me a bit too far forward. Takes a turret shot. What was that from NYBM, unfortunately? As it looks like off that, Samira picks up 2 kills, and it was just a little bit too far. Taking that extra tower shot, and NYBM goes down.
I would have to watch it back. I think he ran out of mana for Q. The Neela, and I think that's the reason why there's a survival. Slamo?
Oh, the flash gets used there by the Dana, but Samir is still alive. Look at the damage. He did. Oh my god, Paul Revere 1776 in the bottom lane. That is the GOAT right there.
Any FFers in the chat? This is diabolical. What do you even say? It's a really unfortunate situation.
It's a collector is what that is, Recollect. That's a collector. He's recollecting the collector, man.
He's about to collect some souls as well, and we ain't talking no Senna. It's gonna be an evening of it. At this point, you just pray. I love the fact that we've just got some like slapping around in the top lane. Meanwhile, the bot lane is on fire. The jungler is dead. Your whole team is almost 0-2 across the board. It is an evening. It is
Paul
certainly.
Revere, he's the guy who knows the British are coming, doesn't he? Is that Paul Revere? He's the British are coming guy.
I have no idea.
I think he is. I think he's an American guy, so the British are coming. So he's the one coming this time. He's letting the bot lane know he's coming. Like
pause. No.
He's running bot to get some absolute kills right now. You're going to see, because the bot lane matchup right now is going to be very rough. Top lane now, we do see Slamo looking for something here. Squavo trying to go aggressive on this Mord. Ulti is available if they want to try and survive, but I don't think there's anything really that the Mordekaiser can do here, but they do Death Realm, trying to take Squavo out. Do they have the damage? Mumu's actually here. What the hell? Mordekaiser is actually surviving this. Not long enough, though, as in goes the Amumu using the ulti. There goes one kill, but here comes the Silas. Gonna use the Pop Blossom. Not going to matter though, and it's actually a 1-for-1. Really nicely traded there, and nice timing from Suckweed with the flash ult.
But it is the first kill over, so there is something benefit there for the Rebels. They're able to pick up at least one. On the flip side, now the real win condition, the Mundo angle is online, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready for the Mundo to run through the enemy team. And I mean, we're looking at bot lane, but this is rough.
There's the Pop Blossom getting immediately used from the Nico, stealthing as a minion. Ulti getting used from Samira. That is a double kill from Paul Revere. Letting them know on the bottom lane right there. 7-0-2. Collector picked up. I don't know how much gold Paul Revere has in the bank, but it's definitely enough to get boots
Diana.
And maybe a bit something else there. Yeah, I got 1,500 gold. That is definitely a tier 2 boots and a little something special. Diana's going to walk down bot here. Blitzcrank does have the ulti available and the Hex Flash. Can they stop it? Nicely done. E up in the air. Ulti available. Can Paul Revere survive? Nice E out of the way from Samira. Trying to get this kill onto the Diana. E will be up quite soon. Q connects onto Diana. Can Blitzcrank get it on his own? Blitzcrank killing the Diana. Let it grow.
Oh no.
I don't know what to say, Recollect. I really don't, man. This is just great.
As a wise man once said, suck weed. The Amuma's just vibing. Diana is Usain Bolting this game. They are sprinting it, and it is an unfortunate one, but they will do their best. As I'm sorry, give me 2 seconds.
It's okay. Sometimes some of these, well, the 1 in 12 at 10 minutes is an interesting one. To be honest with you, that was not in my bingo card. It wasn't in my bingo card.
No. Somehow this game feels less close than the one we had before, but that's okay because Blitzcrank is running and he's looking for a hook.
Oh, is he going to connect it? He's right and right. Oh, he didn't connect. But the Amumu going to use the ulti though, trying to take out MYBM. Samira thinks maybe they can E over the wall and take it, but a Q picks it up. Paul Revere now, 8-0-3 on the Samira.
If we can toggle the gold, I think he might have enough to just straight up buy like an IE or no, he's not quite. He's just got himself a pickaxe.
He's a pickaxe on back or 2-2 boots. But we see both Mordekaiser going in here. Deathstrom getting used. Squavo actually getting turned on, even though he had a lot more HP. Mordekaiser does have the Rylai's, and that is enough. That is enough from Mr. Mollusk in the top lane.
So you remember how there was like a little bit of like hope in your soul? Maybe there's still hope. You know, hopeful.
Is there hope? As we do see Mr. Mollusk looking for something here. Asher trying to come in as well. Slamo eventually taking him out with the ulti, but. I mean, that was crazy. Mr. Mollusk had no HP, and Squavo was nearly half, and somehow with just the Death Realm flip there, Mordekaiser with the passive managed to take out Squavo in the top lane.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, really. This is just one of those games where you finish it and you go to bed, and that's okay. You know, sometimes
you queue up 5 more games of solo queue. What do you know about?
That is true. That's what we actually do. What we should do. What we should do is go to sleep.
I think at this point we should just take a mental reset and have a nice snooze. But as we've seen it, Suckweed does pick up that grub, take it away from Suckweed. I think that stops the 6 grubs, or I might be wrong here.
It does. No, you're right.
It does. And Squavo trying to go in on Suckweed here, but we do see that the Nico is around, trying to slowly root Squavo. No mana available though. Blitzcrank also rotating, and Asher is also looking for something here. Going in with the Hextech Proto Belt, doesn't connect onto anything. Let It Grow is here, trying to maybe connect a hold onto Diana, not going to land. So overall, no kills going over, and the flash getting used there by the Nico.
Yeah, so it's a flash for flash, plus like the ghost from Mundo and the ulti from the Senna being sent across as well. So overall, this is more invested from the Rebels than for Deus, and yet Deus is the ones that are ahead and can now push their advantage. So overall, kind of winning for Deus, except that now the dragon is being started up by Slamo, who's used this for tempo to go onto this dragon, looking to maybe be able to secure that one. Having said that, the reset times are a little bit slow, so might be able to get away with it, but the hook is nice.
The hook connected right into the Senna. Samira coming in there. Paul Revere is legendary. Flash over a wall for the disrespect. Trying to get Slamo there. Didn't get it, but overall, really nicely played from the bot lane of DUES right there.
Yep, they are unfortunately not going to be able to secure the dragon. So in spite of all this, great work from Slamo to be able to pick up 2 dragons. I'm kind of shocked by the fact they managed to at least get this much. Given the game state, having said that,
Samira is 200 gold or 100 gold away from a full Infinity Edge, by the way. Recollect.
Yeah, I mean they are admittedly still in hell, but you know it's slightly.
I don't know, but it's slightly better. Look at Squabble right now in the middle of the fight, taking an auto, taking that Q, taking the passive procs from Mr. Mollusk as he takes out Squabble right there.
You know what? The heat is getting turned up here in this special sauna. That's gonna be first turret as well going down for Paul Revere. So again, more gold over to the Samira. We are just cooking.
Is this an Infinity Edge plus tabbies or say plated steel caps? This might just it is. This is plated steel caps plus an Infinity Edge on the recall. That is kind of crazy.
That is a. You know the alarm bells. We're at least at DEFCON 2 at this point, aren't we? We're scaling up slowly.
And there it is, completed 903, 2 items strong on the Samira. Sorry for the focus, but I mean, what can anyone do here against Paul Revere for the moment? I think Asher can do something with some ulti skills and a bit of swag with the Amumu, but overall, nice ulti coming out. They're getting used by Asher, trying to do something in response to Amumu, used his own. Asher and Slomo trying to run away. Mr. Mollusk taking a bit of damage, so is Suckweed. Asher going hyper aggressive here, looking for something, looking for enough damage to take him out, but the burn proc and the minion takes out Asher. Suckweed might get out here. Squavo going a bit too ham sandwich, and Paul Revere and the Goon Squad are here to try and stop anything else happening and pick up a kill. Let It Grow, going to give it over, so Suckweed picks up that kill.
Oh, excellent stuff. There's the dead Senna as well, by the way. There appears to have been a Nico-based incident in the bottom side, so that's going to be another kill going over to the Deus in the mid lane. Or in the bot lane, sorry. They are losing their turret in the mid lane though, so Nancy somehow in a situation where this is occurring, but Let It Grow going to walk up, is going to get blocked by the W, so no first knockups there. The hook though.
Oh my god, it connected, and that proc set the Samira passive to knock them up further. Just really well played from the DUS bot lane, so well played from Paul Revere and Let It Grow. Absolute crazy plays coming out here from the bot lane.
Oh, absolutely. It is just a play. It's just a living highlight reel here for the bottom side. They're going to get themselves their second turret for themselves specifically, the third for the team of the game. And the snowball is continuing to roll. We just keep moving. And Justice, goodbye.
Oh my god, and in goes Samira. Paul Revere is legendary, and he's not giving over a shutdown anytime soon. A rank right now on the passive. Can he get the S? No, he can't, but he's still around, and he's still hovering around this, so it just takes one more ability there to proc it, and it's just reset. And even though Diana hitting the 2-man ulti, actually very nicely done there from UCC, looking aggressive, trying to pick up Paul Revere. Keep an eye on the lady carry, because when he dies, but it doesn't matter, because the huge Amumu ulti gets used. Triple kill for Paul Revere.
Goodbye, gamers. Paul Revere going to pick up all of those kills off of the back of a lovely little custom side mummy from Suckweed. They pick up another turret on top, and it just looks like we're going to keep up with the regularly scheduled broadcast, which will be a 12k gold advantage at 16 minutes.
I mean, it's 5-25 right now, and that divides evenly if my primary skill maths taught me right.
Now, I am new to the scene within this tournament, so I actually need to ask you a really important question. As I feel like you're more knowledgeable on this area than I am.
Yeah.
What is the rule on surrendering?
I believe it's allowed. It's just, you know, are you going to surrender? It's allowed, but I mean, I wouldn't personally, you know, it's a bit of disrespect Well, I mean, I don't know what respect you have here in this sort of game where it's quite
It is a
tough.
rough match. It is a rough
Yeah,
match.
it's a tough matchup.
This is not the kind of game that you can surrender, because remember the stakes. This is your playoffs that you're fighting for. This is
Yeah, it is.
something that you need to win this game realistically if you want to have that guaranteed spot into playoffs. Otherwise,
to
it's
be
going to
fair
come
though,
down
it's
to
not all
your-
lost. I mean, I know 14 kills are on Paul Revere, but provided they use every single bit of CC, there is an angle back into this. It's just not right now, as we clearly see Senna going to potentially go to Nexus. Neela gets immediately blown up by Paul Revere, and Nico going in. Pop Blossom not going to get used. Don't need anything there, and that is just going to be a kill there for Nico. So overall, 2-0 in favor of DUES, who are kind of running rampant right now. They're going to take a dragon.
That was some really unfortunate timing as well. It's just one of those where, again, the Nico tracking Nico is one of those. Oh, Asher.
Oh, Asher stole the Nico ulti to try and use it on Paul Revere. Gonna try and W it, but the ulti gonna get used. Does he have enough damage to take out Asher? Yes, he does. Paul Revere with that 16-0, Samira.
Oh, my. Now the question is it time for another gold check? As Mr. Mollusk is having to run.
Oh my god, he's 3.8k.
Squabble?
That's a full item on recall, but yeah, Squabble is potentially getting taken out here as well. Suckweed also going to find the Diana. Diana forced to flash. Squavo and Mr. Mollusk having a little fight there, but the spell shield is going to stop anything further happening. Senna ulti going to keep Mr. Mollusk alive a bit longer as he heals a bit. But Squavo wants blood. Look at him. He's healing quite heavy there, but no blood.
Now, if I'm to be the silver lining here, Slammo has not lost a smite fight yet. Did secure that dragon as well. So, on Soul Point are the rebels. So maybe UCC can come back into it through there. If we get some errors that occur, but this might be rough.
I mean, right now we do see Slammo going in aggressively there, trying to take out Let It Grow, but he just didn't manage to get it. But Let It Grow actually is eventually going to go down from the looks of things, and the shutdown going over to Squavo. That is something back for UCC Netstock Rebels. Okay, it's a small win. You're currently quite far down, but it is at least something. But on the other end of the scale, Paul Revere, on his recall, just bought a full LGR and a Vamp Scepter. That is also something.
That is definitely something. My brain broke when I saw the Nico walking up and down the river of Scuttle Crab. I don't know why. I was like, why are we watching the crab? Clearly I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I mean, on the plus side, if there was one person you would want to get fed at this point, the Mundo is not a bad one. There might reach a point where he's just too tanky for something like Samira to kill. Having said that, you don't really expect the Samira to be up an entire item at 19 minutes, so that might not necessarily be relevant in this situation. Having said that, we can believe, and it is, one small step to a comeback. You have to start with a single play. That might be the first one.
I mean, yeah, it's small steps if you're the UCC Netstock Rebels. I mean, yeah, it's tough right now, but it's your big game. Your back's against the wall. What can you do when you kind of have it all to play for right now? You don't want to lose. You got to get through it. Baron has been started. UCC, this is it. This is the fight. Where is UCC right now? DUES are doing Baron. Unfortunately, they are looking to try and get smaller leads. No vision on this as well, but I assume they know they're doing it just from the fact they're not on the map right now, and that's going to be the Baron Nashor immediately taken there for DUES, who are just going to put it in mid lane, going to get a big wave here and potentially push it in to try and get some inhibitors. They're at the inhibitor turret right now mid lane and have the tier 2 turret top and bot to get, but overall, once they crack the base, I think it's fairly easy to just get one more wave and just end the game if they really play it right. I just think UCC need to stack that CC and just shut down Paul Revere.
Yeah, it is time for that North American macro decision making. We will see the NA-RAM modified version, where the Mordekaiser is elsewhere on the map, but the 4-man NA-RAM will occur. They still had Herald. I didn't even
Oh my god, I didn't know they had Herald. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at that. That is kind of tough.
Bonk. That's going to help.
We got one hit. Okay, the hook didn't connect, but Mordekaiser's still pushing. Keep an eye on that as well. Meanwhile, they're trying to slowly push this in. Baron empowered minions, Baron empowered supers melees doing their bits as well. Mordekaiser pushing in this top tier 2, the inhibitor turret as well. the other members also rotating towards the top lane. I think they know if they get a hook and a pick, that's game. Or if they start taking these turrets and pop the base open, that is also potentially game here. In they go. Down goes the top inhibitor turret. Looking to get this mid inhibitor right now as Mordekaiser is also pushing for it while Squavo trying to hold him back, trying to push, trying to get something going on here. That is going to be an inhibitor. They say, no, we're not done yet. Give us the end. We're a bit far fed. Mordekaiser now, they're going to try and lend a hand, say, okay, no, we need maybe an extra wave or two here as they're going to take the inhibitor turret top lane now. Hoping to take a second inhibitor. UCC forced that flash from the Senna there. Looking again, and Mimo goes in. Really nice 3-man ulti gets used. In goes the Senna, Dawning Shadow. Nice knock up on the Pop Blossom, but Asher also used his own ulti. 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills for Senna. They're looking to do something here, as that is the end of the game, but only Mordekaiser left standing. And DUES just absolutely stormed through, and that's a perfect game for Paul Revere. 1776. My man has not died. I mean, he probably did since 1776, but he has not died this game.
Absolutely, and it will be emphatic way of just showing exactly where they belong on the scoreboards. Keeping the dream alive here is Deus. Gonna progress themselves up to, I believe it was 6-7-2. Sorry,
7-2. Okay.
I believe that's qualification for them then.
Yeah, that's definitely 7-2. That's definitely good enough. I mean, if 6 was relatively good for qualification, 7's got to be in. And I mean, the way they played it, okay, maybe on the back of 4 kills going over 30 seconds of the game, it wasn't exactly a fair fight. But I mean, you know, when those games kind of start anyway, people do overextend. They do kind of misplay it a bit as well. I know you start with the Dirk, but people do misplay when they have that extra item advantage. And Paul Revere did not take his foot off the accelerator from the minute he got in that bot lane and got that serrated Dirk. So I have to give props to him there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they did what they needed to do. They punished, they get the kills, they get themselves the objectives, they get themselves a snowball, and they win. It's absolutely what you expect. It's what you need to do. And sometimes not throwing is a skill, inevitably, that teams need to, practice and participate in correctly. So it is what it is. They did what they needed to do, and they've qualified themselves into the playoffs.
Really, really well played. I mean, that was a really good game to watch. Okay, it was a bit quick, but I mean, there was a lot of highlight reel plays there. If one of those like clipping YouTube channels was around and someone was live streaming that, I'd say they'd have a lot to pull from there. There's a lot of highlight reels for Paul Revere and the boys, so really well played. But I think that is going through the game. I'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Ireland Esports Collegiate Series, powered by Natives. Thank KOKA, Reraw, Dogpatch Labs, GG Machines, Play 8 and Stack. I have Anobi Kane 9 with me. Has been Recollect. Any parting words, Recollect?
Make sure you eat your vegetables. It matters in life. And also shout out to Heltic for giving us all a helping hand here.
Thank you to Heltic and thank you to Recollect. I have Anobi K. This has been Recollect. Good night.